Okay, one of these speakers has an original, fancy, expensive Klipsch tweeter. The other one doesn't. Can you spot which? You can barely hear it, and we're going to be modifying the other one as well to use the tweeter out of a €300 Philips flat screen TV, because they're the same size and you cannot get your hands on the original Klipsch part. They do not sell this as a spare part, so we are either stuck with broken speakers, or speakers that sound different, or speakers with, well, Philips TV tweeters. Look at that. It's as if they came from the same factory. Well, they probably did, both of them from China. So, let's have a quick bit of, what's the word? A theory first, and I think I forgot to add the sound to my scene. Oh no, it should be fine, let's see. Yeah, that's fine. So, I actually measured the frequency responses of these two tweeters, or rather complete speaker systems. And as you can see, they aren't all that different. In fact, just looking at this graph, you can barely tell which is the Klipsch original and which is the Philips flat screen TV speaker 2 cent special from China. Of course, this one with the big frequency response unevenness is the Philips TV speaker, because it's, well, you can see it's a lot less linear. No, wait, I lied. The line with the jagged edges is actually the Klipsch original. The flatter one is the Philips. It does come at a cost though. You can see that the general trend of the Philips speaker is towards a much darker sounding speaker. We have less trouble to go about, whereas the tweeter, which is a larger size and higher quality in the Klipsch, is providing more output power, and it's going to be a lot more durable at high power than the Philips tweeter as well. But for, geez, these lines are basically the same colour. That's annoying. But for a modification like this I think is a very, very good result. We are not looking at a huge decline in performance from performing such a horribly ugly repair, and it truly is very, very ugly, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So that's the theory for you. We're looking at decent performance, although not original, and we are basically missing an octave of a top end, because the Philips just doesn't quite go to 20k, as well as the Klipsch one does. I believe the Klipsch kind of comes up here at the end. There's a 16k there, while the Philips actually goes down. The big drop in frequency right at the edge there is due to my poor measuring setup, so don't bother with that. So let's get back to work, and let's start by taking apart the already modified speaker, because I need to actually mount the crossover in this. I didn't do that properly because I was slightly modifying it in order to better accommodate the less sensitive Philips speaker, and we're going to go through how that's been done as well. This time I have prepared myself with a drill driver, so we can actually take these apart without ruining my wrist in the process. So, brace yourself for the horror that resides within this box, which is not desiring to be released. Is that not a thing of bodgery beauty? So let's start by turning on the hot glue gun, because we're going to need that in a minute. So we have the Philips tweeter hot glued to, oh god, something disconnected from a PC. I'm hoping that's not my capture card. No, it's not. So we have the Philips tweeter hot glued to the horn and bound down by a piece of piping installation metal work, I'm not sure what you'd call that, but this is just screwing into the original main holes and pressing down on the Phillips tweeter, which is mounted with its main sticking out the side because they actually go the wrong way. They're actually the right width to fit the original Klipsch mount. It's a very, very close match there, but alas, they should protrude straight out, but they go back a bit. But never mind that, this works very well and provides ample pressure towards the horn, making a rather decent mechanical connection, and the hot glue is providing sealing. So what I've done in here to the crossover to accommodate the Phillips tweeter, which is considerably less sensitive than the Klipsch part it replaced, is I have just bypassed this 1 ohm resistor in series with the original tweeter, and that is done quite simply by adding a jumper wire. As you saw on the frequency response graph, it could still do with a bit more power to get a bit flatter still, but having it as a slightly dark speaker is going to make the speaker sound a bit bigger than it is, and it's not that bad. I don't mind it, it's not horrible. And I forgot what my last point was. Further adding power to the tweeter would require basically attenuating the woofer by adding a resistor in series with that, and I don't want to do that because that would just destroy the damping factor and make this thing distort a bit more at the low end. And yeah, that's not a good thing in a tiny speaker like this, which is already going to suffer from distortion in the bass region. Otherwise, this is a rather basic crossover. We have a tweeter with just an RC filter, this resistor in series with a tweeter, and this capacitor, what's that, 12 microfarads, is in series with, is in parallel with a woofer, giving it a bit of a low-pass filter, and these two chokes are also in series with the woofer. So nothing magical going on there. Let's get this thing back where it belongs, mounted way in the back of the cabinet where you can't sit, with screws that I have completely misplaced. How do you lose screws in like 3 minutes? Oh, there we go. There we go. So, to clue anybody who didn't watch the last stream up, what's going on is these two speakers were picked out of a trash. They were sitting in a big puddle of water. In fact, one of them, this one, was sitting basically submerged halfway, and the tweeter was full of rust and water, and it had been blown prior to being tossed in the dumpster. So it was basically beyond saving. I put some effort into actually trying to repair the original tweeter that came in this thing, but it was just beyond all hope. It was in such horrible condition. It literally dripping with water, and it had probably been subjected to a harshly clipping amplifier being played all too loud, causing it to completely burn its choke up. So that's why we are doing this ugly modification, and I did do some research. Cock. That's 4 deciliters of water on the floor. Good thing it's made of concrete. But I also ruined my cup. Well, that's ugly. That makes me sad. Oh well. Yeah, you can't buy these tweeters, neither the horn nor the driver, at least not easily, without being like some official certified Klipsch retailer or something. So we're doing the next best thing, which is using 3 things out of a trash, as we always do. If I were really caring about these speakers, I would add a bit more soundproofing to this cabinet, because they are slightly boomy. Not a lot, but slightly. But I'm not that picky. I think I'm gonna just use these in the kitchen because they're white and suitable for kitchen-y indoors use. In fact, let's not use the drill driver right away, because that's going to ruin our plastic threads. I want to use a manual screwdriver and just turn the screw backwards for a sec till we find the thread, dock. There we go, you can always feel the screw just falling slightly inside the speaker box when it finds the thread. This is actually very important. A lot of people don't seem to get it, because I always see both wood and plastic speaker enclosures where people have just cross-threaded these self-tapping screws and completely butchered them. You need to use larger diameter screws after someone has done that, and that's not always possible. And then you might have a ruined speaker. This is set to very low torque setting. So yeah, I'm not going to bore you with assembling this whole thing, because we have a modification to do to the other one, where I, a kind man, I would have disassembled this completely prior to the start of the stream, but I didn't remember, so you have to bear with me using this drill for a while. At least we're not doing it by hand. Thank goodness these are Torx. I don't think we actually need to completely disassemble the tweeter. Like, I don't think we need to remove the horn from the cabinet. I think we might be able to do the modification. Oh god, this thing's full of water. Wow. Jeez. There is a lot of water in here. Good thing we took it apart. Oh god, this thing is completely damp. Yuck. Well, that's surprising. I thought this one was fine. Yuck. Full of water. So much for weatherproofing. Jeez. Yeah, I'm just going to have to squeeze this out. Yeah, there's water running out of that. There is literal water dripping, running into the trash. Let's just put this, like, on top of my big CFL lights 80 watt tubes to dry. That's a nice warm place. And let's also wipe down this thing so it doesn't rust more than it needs to. I wasn't expecting there to be water inside this thing, actually, since this was the nice speaker with the, which didn't have a blown tweeter. Yeah, lots of water. Lots of water. Probably not salt water, since that would just corrode everything instantly. But you don't want any water inside your speakers usually. That's the issue with weatherproofing things like this. If you can keep water out, you can also keep it in. And water always gets in. Ah yeah, that's dry enough for the time being. So we want to start with a tweeter, and then we'll do the crossover. So let's just get rid of the original tweeter, which is probably in decent working order. Although full of water. I've actually been playing this speaker. I know it works fine. I'm surprised. I would not expect a speaker that's this wet to actually sound anywhere near okay. Yeah, these tweeters are siliconed in, so you just have to use brute force to rip them out. I don't think this one's actually full of water. It's not clocking like the other one would have been. No, I think this is pretty much fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'll put it in a pile somewhere. It's not a super high-end tweeter, even though it's Klipsch branded, because these are cheap speakers. 200, 300 euros a pair, while they are completely weatherproofed. Like, that is very cheap. The weatherproofing is going to demand a premium, so these are probably like comparable to maybe 150 euro normal home speakers. Still not something I'd just toss away. They sound okay. The dispersion is very good, since they are actually horn loaded on the tweeter side. That's a big part of why I want to save these. Like, you get very good dispersion. You can mount these basically facing almost away from you, and you can still hear the tweeters, which is nice for a small speaker in like a kitchen or an outdoors area, where you don't want to hear the sound changing as you move around. You want it to stay pretty much the same. Well, you always do want that, but it's more important in such Okay, we're back. So have I just been explaining sound measurement theory for like 20 minutes with no sound? I probably have. I can't see any timestamps in the chat. Oh god. Like, it doesn't seem to have been quiet for too long. I'm not seeing too many. 25 minutes? 25 minutes? Oh Christ. Well, that's great. You haven't missed much. Yeah, I've just been rambling on. The visuals were the interesting part anyway. So, what we're doing right now is setting up a frequency response test bench using my vacuum cleaner as a microphone stand, and we're going to be testing the performance of these two speakers to see if they sound at all alike. Hopefully we had audio in the beginning where we went through the frequency response testing of the original Klipsch tweeter versus the modified speaker, and now we're just going to compare the two modified speakers to each other using one microphone and just running them side by side. I'm going to sound a bit weird because I have a microphone stuck right up against my neck because it's going to get loud in here. Because the way I do these frequency response checks is I play pink noise through the speakers at a quite high volume, and that combined with a lot of averaging gives me a decent performance idea of how the speakers sound, because white noise averaged, or pink noise averaged over a long enough time is going to be completely flat spectrally. So it's a good way of doing it, a lot simpler than using The battery meter on these Rode video mic kits is absolutely worthless. The receiver went from 2 bars to dead in, what was that? I don't know, a couple of minutes? Well, now that's powered off a power bank, and I have fresh batteries in the transmitter, so fuck's sake. So yeah, right, let's just go over everything again, since we probably had no audio. I'm going to measure the frequency response of the speakers coarsely by just playing pink noise through them, and by using averaging in my analysis software, I can just average it out and get a decent enough frequency response, because white noise averaged over a long enough period of time is spectrally flat. So just doing like 10 averages on it is pretty good. It gives us a good idea of how the speakers perform. Good enough for my purposes anyway. So I have mounted a microphone with duct tape to my vacuum cleaner, and we are about to begin playing some sounds. So I should have some music coming out of a piece of software somewhere around here, if it hasn't died. that should work if we turn the audio on. Let's see. Oh, there's no sound coming out. Why is there no sound? Oh yeah, it's because it's off. There we go. So we have audio. Both tweeters actually do work. Good. So we can stop that, and now we're going to move on to just playing some noise, and I'm going to don some earmuffs because it's going to be loud. I have no idea how this is going to sound in the microphone. I can't monitor that. So brace yourselves. It's going to just be horrible. I'm going to adjust the volume until these woofers are roughly performing at their maximum excursion, and then we're going to take some measurements. So here we go. Pink noise starts. Now you're going to wish the microphone's dead. So I'm going to bring up the screen capture. Let's just add a video capture device. Which one's that? No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. We are professional. How the hell do you remove this thing? Remove. Yes. Let's add HDMI 2. I can't keep track of this, my HDMI inputs, because they keep changing around. HDMI 2. Okay, good. There we go. This is the kind of thing you do live on the air. So I'm gonna move on to let's just remove our previous references. They're cleared, and start capture. Why are those not cleared? Go away. There we go. So now I'm going to have to shut up while I take the measurements. Left speaker. And going for the right one. Okay, and I think perhaps we have managed to put the tweeter in the wrong polarity on the new one, because we have this big discrepancy in what should be roughly the crossover region. Why is this so big? What happens if I do that? Yeah, that's roughly 3000 kilohertz. Which is where the Klipsch crosses over. I'm going to take another data point for the new speaker, just to re-angling the microphone slightly. Let's make sure we are really spot on, aiming straight towards the middle of the two speakers, and both are aimed straight at the microphone. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to take another measurement on the right one, see if that weird artifact goes away, because that's several dBs actually. That's quite a lot of difference, worth considering. So here we go. And that's looking a lot better. Just aiming the speakers to better face the microphone removed that weird drop we saw. So I'm quite sure we have both tweeters in the correct orientation. Polarity wise, else would see a much bigger gap there, I think. So that is all good. So how is our performance? So this is these lines are just relative to the top of the frequency chart, so this is going to be the peak, or maybe this is the peak. So our average is going to be somewhere around here. So we have like +3-ish there at the low end, where we just start to come in at about 100 Hertz or so. And we're pretty much within, like this is 5 dB. We're pretty much within 5 dB. With a bit of a peak right about 4 or 5 kilohertz. What's that? Yeah, 5 kilohertz. And within 5 dB, just up to about 10k, and then we start both rolling off horrible tweeters and running into non-linearities in my measurement microphone. So really, I think this is a decent performance. Again, the blue line, by the way, is just our measurement line, which is stopped. So maybe I can just get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. So these are the speakers, pure and true, and they are measuring quite similarly. Both tweeters match up sensitivity-wise, which is making me happy, and we are roughly within 5 dB from 125 Hertz to 10 kilohertz, and a bit of wonkiness up at the tops due to my horrible measurement rig. Not too bad, I dare say. And hey, all the white noise gets caught on microphone, so that's gone perfectly. I am happy with this. So really, all that remains to do now is take... oh god. Destroy the house with my vacuum cleaner. And take this guy apart again, let him dry out properly since it's still wet inside. Oh cock, I was actually playing audio on my test speakers, my test speakers are up there as well, but that's not going to make a huge difference since we're measuring right in front of these, since field strength decreases so much with distance. A speaker that's mounted up there is barely going to be picked up on the microphone compared to one that's right here up against it, so that's not a problem. That cable is there. So yeah, this guy's coming apart. I think we've shown that this is actually a decent repair. We have reasonable performance on a couple of trash-picked brand new speakers being repaired with speakers out of a €300 Philips TV. And with that, I'm going to take this guy apart, have a quick look at the chat and cry at all the no audio comments I was not looking at before. And then I'm going to sign off. So at this point, the technical work is done. So if that's all you're here for, you can just go away. You have very little left to see. Yeah, lights. You don't need to see my face like that. That's better. So what's the chat say? No sound. So much no sound. Oh god, almost right from the start. No audio. Can I get timestamps on this thing? How do I get timestamps? I have done it sometime. Toggle timestamps. There we go. And that made half the chat disappear. Well, good. So we have no audio at 8:27. No audio. No audio. No sound. Oh wow. Did we fix it there? No sound. At 8:37. This is what happens when we don't read the chat, yeah? When do we actually get no sound at 8:43? Oh wow. This has gone bad. Like, someone just says, I give up. No sound at 8:45. No sound. Oh god. No sound. Someone's spamming no sound emojis. FF Cossack does not make these mistakes. Yes, I do. Do we have sound now? Oh, we do. Good. I have this little sound meter right here, which I keep looking at every now and again, but I was clearly too involved in my work. And at 8:52 it seems we got audio back. So basically the whole stream had no audio. Oh wow. Ah, that's embarrassing. That's the issue with my current setup. I actually have no way of actually monitoring this properly. I'm hoping to have that kind of remedied at some point when I move this setup, because yeah, that's rather inexcusable. I'm better than that. I apologize for my incompetence. I apologize for my incompetence. It was quiet for like, 20-30 minutes. And then it went away. It went away almost instantly. No sound, no sound, no audio. But I think I found it this time rather quickly. No sound, no sound. And there, at like 8:56 I got it back, so that was another like 5 minutes of no sound. Oh well. Electronash asks, do you not normally use sweeps? No, I don't. That's too much work, and the software I use doesn't really support it very easily. It can be done, but it's buggy and slow and annoying to use. Looks like AIMP. Yes indeed, AIMP is my audio player of choice. AIMP3 for the win, the best Russian Winamp clone there ever was. It's way better than Winamp. Lots of people using Winamp. Huh. Someone says the frequency response graph doesn't look like a Bode plot, or is it? Oh god, I know nothing about that kind of stuff. I'm going to Google what is a Bode plot. That looks like some really high-tech way of displaying frequency response. I just let my software do all the magic. Okay. Someone says, why an LED that comes on if there's no microphone input? Well, I have my audio meter, I just didn't look at it. Someone says fix something else. No, I'm done for today. Craig Nering says, I'm still on yesterday's, quote, live stream, yet here I am today. I think you have like the same URL basically every time you stream. I at least like it. The YouTube UI is really weird with that, but yeah, we're done now. Thanks to everyone for watching. No need to thank you for listening because I didn't give you the opportunity to. That was a shame because I was rambling about all kinds of interesting things about hot glue guns and crossovers and frequency response measurements and what have you, but you're never going to find out. That's the mystery of life. So, thank you, and make sure you enjoy yourselves.